JMBtv. Today we are shooting a video showing you how to install this rear diffuser on a 99 BMW M3. Now it should be about the same for all E36 models, M style or not. This one comes from Mkah Motorsports. I am not paid or sponsored by Mkah Motorsports, so in addition to installation, I'll be giving you an honest review of their product. Let's get it in. Okay, now I've gone ahead and laid everything out. This is pretty much how it's going to look once it's bolted all together.
Alright, just to assemble this, you're going to need a 3/8 wrench
and a good Phillips screwdriver. It takes these small bolts and nuts. Now the first piece I would suggest assembling is these end pieces. Make sure you got them on the right side. Lay everything out as if you were going to put it on the vehicle. That way you know it's all in the right direction. You don't assemble it backwards or upside down. I would grab one of these ends and then take the fin from the bottom side, slide it in. It goes in like that. You put your bolts in, but I would put them from the top down. That way it doesn't interfere with your exhaust on the left side. Work on the left side, do the same thing. Slides in from the bottom, folds over. Now you're going to know if you got these on backwards because the left side will not line up with the right. So if you try. Now the left side is assembled. I'm going to wait to tighten everything up until I have the whole piece together. So now, to connect to the center piece, there's 4 bolts, same size. Now when you first get this thing shipped to your house, you're going to notice this aluminum's pretty thin. Now, I'm sure they do that to keep costs down as well as weight reduction. So once you have it all together, it's pretty rigid. Got all the bolts in. It's pretty flimsy until I get it tightened up. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything down and then we'll get it installed. Okay, now we're going to do the installation. So, tools you're going to need if you don't have a lift are a jack and jack stands, electric drill, split it underneath there on cardboard, and then also I got a little piece of foam here I'm going to put on my jack, slide it in there and raise it up. One thing I've noticed already, if you have stock exhaust, it doesn't exactly fit properly. So either we're going to have to adjust the bracket and drill new holes, or we're just going to have to bend it around it. One thing I would suggest doing is measuring center to center. So what I mean by that is center on your stock rear diffuser. Mine's pretty easy because it's already got a molded piece of plastic that's dead center. So you put a piece of painter's tape on there, and there's your dead center. And then for the Mkah rear diffuser, you just want to measure across the center section, and that's 28 inches. Let's see, 28 1/4 inches. So half of that is going to be 14 1/8. So you just want to measure and mark it. What I'm going to do is I'm clamping this down with some wood clamps. You can get these at Lowe's and Menards, any major hardware store. Don't put a whole lot of pressure on it because this is plastic, and then this thin metal. Just put a light amount of pressure on there. All I'm doing is trying to keep it centered and make it so it doesn't move. Now we're going to put the screws on the ends first. They give you these, but it's just going into plastic. So I may put some adhesive on it later, but for now we're going to run them in and just be cautious so we don't strip them out. Start with the second one in. Kind of push up on the diffuser just so it molds to the back bumper a little better. Now, I was going to do the same thing on the other side with the exhaust, but it's a problem with it folding around the muffler, so I may just drill the holes for the rest of it and see how that goes.
Now this is on the front right, drilling a hole into the spare tire well.
Put one of these long bolts in and up through the hole.
Alright, now once you get the bolt through there, go ahead and put the nut on the other side, but do not tighten.
front bolt, driver's side. Go ahead and put the bolt in and then slap a piece of tape over it. That way it stays up there while you can put the nut on the other side. I'm at the front section behind the differential. This is the front of the diffuser. I've already drilled a hole. All you want to do is you want to hold it up tight up against that, and then just drill a hole in there. And then after you drill a hole, it'll take one of these short bolts. Now this is for the right rear bolt. Just drill through the stock plastic diffuser.
And now do the same on the left side.
You cannot get to these bolts here that are supposed to go into your stock diffuser. So these fins on these outsides, that outer part has to come back off just so you can get this bolt in the back. Now there are 13 bolts total that hold this rear diffuser to your vehicle. You've got 4 on each side in this section here, 3 that go in the spare tire well, and then you've got 2 that go in the rear diffuser. These 2 bolts here, the only way you can tighten them up is to drop this part back down. So you don't have to take it completely down. You just loosen these bolts up here. I've already got them loose. You pull them back out. After you have those bolts out, you have enough room. You'll have to come back from this side and reach your hand in there with a wrench, and then you have access to it. Now it's the same on the left and the right. One thing after full assembly I've noticed is the left side actually sits up higher than the right side in this area right here. Now this is actually a design flaw. You can look on MK's website and their pictures actually show a similar issue. One thing you can do to fix this is install a 1/2-inch spacer on this back left bolt. Now on this left side, you got your 1/2-inch spacer like we talked about earlier. You need a 7/16 wrench and a Phillips or flat bladed screwdriver and the bolt that goes in the back of here. Alright, now that I've got the bolt up through there, you've got to go in through the front side, put the nut on. For the right side, we just got to put a bolt in. There's no spacer that goes on this side. It goes directly into the rear diffuser. This one is just like the left side. You got to reach your hand in from the front. Put the washer and the nut on there. Okay, now that that's tight, we can put the end pieces back up and bolt them back on. Okay, now that we've got the 1/2-inch spacer in on this side, you can see the spacing is even on both sides. It looks more aesthetic than it did earlier. Earlier it looked, lopsided. I think it looks a lot better like this. The wheel well, there's 3 bolts. One here, one there, and one there. Alright, now after I have them completely tightened up, I'm going to take a die grinder to them or a cutting wheel and cut them short. That way they're not poking the spare tire. I don't need holes in the spare tire. Alright, on this portion of the video we will be talking about style, form, function, and cost. Now as far as style, I think it looks great. Mkah Motorsports did a great job on fitting it to the E36 model. Form definitely fits up well if you do not have a stock exhaust. Now if you do have a stock exhaust, you will have to fabricate additional brackets to fit it around your stock muffler. Also, the kit should have come with a 1/2 inch spacer for that left side in the back bolt here, which we talked about in the video earlier. As far as functionality, it appears to be functional like it's supposed to, like the way it's designed. It looks like it would, you know, help some wind go past your vehicle. As far as cost, I think it's a little pricey for the issues that it has with stock exhaust. Now I know this is a full race diffuser, so that may come into play with MK's reasoning upon not offering extra brackets for a stock exhaust, but it would be nice because not everybody has aftermarket exhaust. Overall, I'm happy with it. Looks great. Now if you like this video, hit that like button, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think of this product. Now stay tuned, we're going to be doing more how-to videos, and I will also be doing more reviews on aftermarket products for BMW as well as other imports and probably some domestics. So thanks for watching.